Number 2 with a bang, then let's jump into this draft and get to see what happens as Gravitas and Order do battle. Order on the left-hand side for the second time now. Back-to-back games. Corki has been let through, and it's an instant first pick.
Yeah, straight into the Corkster. Makes sense. Of course, one of the best champions right now. One of the, and I think we mentioned this briefly yesterday, one of the reservations people will have about a Corki first pick is that there are counters that exist. You can play, you know, a Zed or an assassin in mid lane has been known as something that beats Corki because he's only really going to build a more of Mortius. Forcing him to build a shield bow, you would generally say is a major victory. So it's always like there's that part in your brain that's like, I don't want to first pick this, but it is so broken if you get to 3 items that honestly, I don't care. Go 0-4 and just be Corki and you'll be happy. So glad that they do go for that first pick.
Good to see what the response is from Gravitas as they wasted no time locking in the Jinx, giving themselves a very strong open in the bot lane. One of the preferred champions here for Thomas Shen. Hover the Rumble for a second. I tell you what, we're not in that meta anymore, so cycling through what else is meta. Not going to be the J4 this time. It's going to be Viego.
I wouldn't be mad to see a Rumble locked in just quietly. Actually, we've been seeing a little bit of Rumble over in the LPL in top lane, so there is a world. Kevy just going to hover a bunch of his champions and Voldemort. So we'll continue to cycle through. See where he chooses to go. It does make sense that you would go for a bottom lane here. You match the AD carry and then probably lock in an optimal support before the ban phase. You're expecting, I mean, realistically, Jinx can go with anything now, but Nautilus, Leona, usually the best options for Jhin. Yuumi does go with Jhin, jokes aside, so it's still on the list.
Yeah, the same with Ezreal as well as they were hovering through. Start to wonder, is it an early fresh angle, given it's still up? Try and dash away from all these resets that Gravitas are clearly hunting for nice and early. Instead, the Lee Sin is now being hovered. We're going to showcase some of those mechanics that we got to see yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Shin Sao's already banned, Viego picked. Lee Sin lock-in here does mean that they're not going to go for like a Lee Sin Jarvan 4-5 ban phase for Gravitas and really limit the jungle champion pool. And beyond those 3 champions, those 4 champions with Viego, it is pretty limited right now in a competitive sense. So first 3 junglers with a bot lane is usually the staple. The one mix-up is going to be that FP of Corki, which throws Gravitas for a little bit of a loop, right? Do you match with a mid laner, which they have seemed to have gone towards, of course, flexible. Does leave the support role open for some potential ban.
I'm going to derail that for a second and say I was having flashbacks to Fasting Senna where I saw a Nasus getting hovered there right until the very last second. It could have been so exciting, something cheesy to try and get a win here against Order, but they do default to the Akali instead. So now we do get to that second half of the ban phase and get to see what Gravitas decide to try and remove. You're looking at supports, you're looking at further protection to allow these 3 AD damage sources to really work wonders. You've removed the Graves in the first half, now you're removing the Gragas as well.
Still no Victor, no Twisted Fate to be seen. Still none of the champions that we spoke about at the top of the show that the rest of the world absolutely loves. Corki Victor is known as a slightly Victor-favored handshake lane as well. So there's really no harm in looking for that option. We saw from DaJeung yesterday that he doesn't mind a bit of Vex, cheeky Vex gameplay, so could be that he looks towards that, as we are now seeing a Gragas ban from Gravitas side with a Malphite.
Okay.
Is this just a Jayce 4th pick, or is this an Akali top lane and they're afraid of that matchup?
Does raise some questions right now because you're limiting their champion pool to what's up and available still. As you say, Jayce would still feel like one of the top 3 contenders. You've got the likes of Ornn, Camille, to say the least, if you want some form of bulkiness or some split push action to try and keep this team in check. They're going to remove 2 supports our order. They remove away the Fresh first of all, and then the Lulu. No hooks, no box, no flay, no polymorph. Nothing to try and make Kisee's life as hard as possible.
Yeah, and this does make things a little bit easier for someone like a Lee Sin, right? To find those engage angles, not get polymorphed or lantern to safety. If the Q connects, this should be a top lane pick from Gravitas. It's weird that they would do 2 top bans into not picking a top laner. And now I'm just going to throw it out there. Malphite Gragas bans against BioPanther into a Sett pick is a little bit weird. And I'm going to say weird in supplement for many other words that came to mind. And we'll let this draft continue out. What matters for Gravitas is that they have the counter pick if they would like for bottom lane in its entirety.
World is their oyster right now. Plenty of options for them to conjure up. What are they going to go for? Leaving us one to the very last moment. It is going to be the Jayce. It's what we were wondering, and it's what we thought seemed right. Another champion which offers you so much poke. I'm looking at an Exodius situation here where you've got 3 very far backline champions. You've got Corki,
It's a Yuumi
you've got
angle.
Jhin, you've got Jayce.
I hate
you
it.
poke them at the fight. How do they hard engage with a Sett?
Well, that would work as well. The champion that you pick has to be really good with like surviving the three in like a 1-3-1 type of composition, or survive the engage that has to come out of Gravitas because you have a poke composition. I mean, Zilean is just like the primeval against an engage composition.
Yep.
He's just going to press R and you've been countered. Yuumi was an option because it provides crazy damage output for the poke champions and, you know, cannot be targeted, so they can use mobility to get out. But I like the Zilean route here personally. It does mean, though, that Gravitas can see the Zilean and pick whatever they would like. You can go a hook champion if you want to be super aggressive.
Okay.
That's where they're going to go. Thresh ban Nautilus was the logical choice. So a bit more aggression down in that 2v2.
Yeah, looks like Vxpir is going to run things back from last night and showcase what they can do in the spot lane again. But very different draft ideas, right? I feel like Gravitas revealed their hand very early on. They have assassins in the first 3. They have the ability to try and find a kill, get a reset, and get excited, literally. Whereas Order have said, well, if we just poke you from afar, how do you play the game? We've got stuns, we've got bombs. And if you do, by some miracle, manage to kill somebody, we've got a Zilean ult, there's a revive, a second chance, and we're back in business once more. Which draft do you like more, I suppose?
I think the Zilean pick's actually super clutch. So I was originally going to say there's two things that I like about both compositions. One is that Gravitas have got the ease of execution, right? Nautilus can press ult. Sett has the ultimate to get into the backline. They've got the Akali for the dive with the Viego. And the purpose is the resets for Viego. Suddenly the game shifts and it's so easy for them to win team fights if they get that first kill, because if Viego reset, Jinx excited, wrap it up for a team fight, right? Or to pick Zilean, which stops both of those things from happening outright. So if the Zilean pays off and the ults go on the correct target, they deny those resets, then the poke composition of Order is just going to be way too strong, scaling up in items and probably just going to go a little bit out of control. So I like both compositions for different reasons. I think there is skill in execution, which means there is going to be a lot of importance placed on setup, Skimmy, vision control, and how they execute.
Vision control is going to be absolutely paramount, no doubt, here for Gravitas to seek out those opportunities for them to collapse on, to deny a fully fledged 5-man roster of Order to come together and utilize all their poke, but most importantly, the Zilean component to add to be that cherry on top, really. So I'm quite excited to see how these two teams do decide to battle things out. It was quite exciting for me seeing Order with their map movements. It felt a little bit reactive at times, always on the back foot against Chiefs, but they were in the right place at the right time as a collective to try and find those punishments. So can Gravitas look to try and cause them headaches like that again? They've got a similar composition, if you date your mind back to last night, in terms of find the hook, find the kill, and go on that.
Certainly is possible, yes, but we are looking for that proactivity, right? We're looking for what Order can provide. If they get leads for Gravitas, we want that aggression still to be there, Skimmy. We want to see them snowball with that aggression when it happens.
Certainly do. Let's load into the Rift and get ourselves ready for game number 1 here for day 2 of week 1. It's Order on the left-hand side with Gravitas on the right. And I am, in fact, joined here by Gravitas' coach in Sipe Nav. How are you?
Oh, good. How are you fellas doing?
Very well, mate. Very well. It's always exciting to have more people in the LCO for us to talk to. Quick, easy question for you boys as we load into this game. What's it been like working with such a big roster, and sort of what can the fans expect in terms of all these players to come?
Yeah, well, working with big rosters, very similar to working with a small roster. It's just you've got more things going on. So, unfortunately, like, you can't run everybody in scrim, so you can't just, like, keep up with, running and interchanging people as much as you would like. So you generally have to just start with a starting roster and give them most of the scrims. And over the next couple of weeks, we're planning to keep interchanging people and sort of work out what the team dynamics going to sort of finalize to become. And obviously we've got a lot of green people, so what to expect from us is just keep building up the basics. A lot of other teams have already got past that marker, but we'll keep working through it. And testing out what our different rosters can achieve.
Yeah, fantastic. I love the answer. Very excited to see what you boys can conjure up this year and how we can see you guys go as a result. We're going to leave there for the meantime as we load into the Earth. And pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Of course, we do load into a pause here, Skimmy, unfortunately, on the return back from the coach interview. Welcome to Oshi out here for anyone's joining us for the first time. This is our natural color screen. And I do agree with Sitemav in majority of the points that he made, including working with a big team is like working with a small team, only bigger.
That's
I mean, I can't argue with a single word.
He chose to speak facts.
He did spit facts. This game, of course, we are about 1 minute 50 seconds into it as the pause happened. What you've missed, realistically, is nothing. There was a bit of aggression bottom. That's to be expected, right? Nautilus into Zilean. You're looking for those hook angles. You want to be super aggressive. You also want to try and be aggressive before level 2. The Zilean starts to actually get stuns out, and it means that the trade back is pretty good from the side of Order, depending on how those hooks go. And if you miss a hook, you definitely cop it. Through the rest of the map, though, expect a lot of health trading in top, a lot of aggression in mid from Corki, trying to get push while he can. But that swings back wildly, you know, around the level 6 point.
The kill pressure, you look at the level 6 for what that'll really entail and offer Gravitas. It's going to be quite scary. That's the drag back here as BioPanther switches to melee, and I should say hammer form, really, more so than anything. Hits him with the knockback. They walk away both dead even and start burning some consumables.
Yeah, I mean, definitely got to be a part of this one. Now, I think we have to look at this one, Skimmy, as well, because it is the Doran shield, right? Not the triple rejuve.
Yeah.
We see very different Akali builds, but all of them want to have that health regeneration. Corki's not going to be an extreme poke champion in comparison to some top lane matchups, and also top lane is such a long lane that you'll get more poke over an extended duration. So it's more risky to have the triple rejuve up there, but it can provide more value if you get away with it. This time around, really valuing the health and auto attacks that come out of Corki as a champion. Obviously going to be quite annoying to deal with, so the shield's pretty clutch.
I think we got from Mac yesterday, right? The fact that we had a game with the Corki getting, what, plus 2,300 gold by the end of it. It's a pretty nice item, and this could be a pretty nice gank here, looking for first blood as Foreigner comes in. Flashes forward, does hit the stun, despite Kisee burning flash late. He doesn't fall on down, but he feels a fair bit of pain. Out goes the Chompers, there's the hook, there's the damage exhaust, and a bomb, a stun. As Puma tries to answer back with the fourth and final shot and just locks him in place.
Puma trades back onto the AD carry of Gravitas, but the difference between support health bars right now is too big.
Ooh, Vxpir, he's so keen, he's so hungry. Deadly Flourish goes wide, but they found a passive again, locked in place. And the trade is actually still working in favor of Gravitas, but Puma's answering back.
Here.
And they've bought enough time. Here comes Kevy. Foreigner is still running down the lane. Double flash to try and buy some time. He's got no money. He's flashed on forward, letting the 1, 2, 3 auto attack go across. Red buff's not enough. But the flash forward and the third shot will do it. So explosive in this bottom lane.
Yeah, Kevy gets there too fast, right? Nice damage coming out of the Lee Sin. Good mechanics as well. Flashing at the correct moment. He's hunting, trying to make sure that this Jinx does not get any free farm under the turret. We'll just be able to disengage at the very end there regardless. And Kevy gets the first move. Foreigner just left reeling really in response. If we think back towards that mid gank, however, a really nice flash stun actually coming out of the Viego, but no ignite for mid, right? No ignite in that mid lane Akali matchup means the kill threat was all but gone, and another chance at life for Kisee in mid lane, who can just come back to lane with his teleport.
Yes, certainly can. Both TPs now gone in that mid lane. Only one available still will be Tyran in the top side, who's currently pushing in a wave against this Jayce. But no summoners exist in this bot lane now. Very chaotic energy, back and forth. It started looking like Vxpir was going to lead the line, find that kill, and get these boys on the score sheet nice and early. But a calm measure and a early jungle rotation. There's the showstopper, or I should say, the face breaker into the haymaker. Bit of a tongue twister. As Tyran's just looking to try and crash this one and effect a base.
Also known as the make 'em kiss. If you get tongue-tied, it's a lot easier to say. BioPanther just trying to trade really aggressively in top lane. You'll note that he also has phase rush in his matchup instead of the first strike on that Jayce. Jayce Corki, two of the first strike champions. And that mobility is really useful for getting away from a Viego, first of all, if you're able to proc it, and from a Sett who, as a primary function, without flash, just has to walk at you menacingly until he catches you. So Jayce definitely gets a lot of value from phase rush in a game like this. And it's also going to be a triple tier stacking game, Skimmy. So from the side of Order, 3 tiers to be built, a lot of scaling to be had. The whole purpose of this early game is just get through it, use Kevy, and try and have a platform for success through his ganks early, right? Through his early goal generation, because they aren't exactly losing lanes, they're just scaling champions. And if they hit those 1 items, 2 item spikes, I think 3 for Corki's when it becomes unbearable. The game gets really, really impossible for Gravitas.
It does certainly feel like the bridge to get them through this early stage whilst they're waiting for those tiers to be completed at 360. So if you can see Kevy continue to be proactive in such a fashion like he is right here, that's going to give these guys enough chance to scale into infinity and hit a point much like their game last night, where doesn't matter what soul you have, doesn't matter what buffs you have, you just can't contend with all the damage coming your way.
Kevy going to snipe away a couple of those chickens. And yeah, the thing is, the onus belongs to Gravitas, right? You need to see them make some early aggressive moves. I would say around level 6 is probably their stronger break point as a team. Pretty much every champion wants to be level 6 to really be at their peak usefulness. Jinx being able to have that global impact, Nautilus being able to roam, and then Akali being an assassin, Sett with that big ultimate, and the Viego for resets and having an extra dash within that to get even more from it. So that's when you expect to see some explosive moves from Gravitas across the board. But the Dragon's already gone. Herald is the play in 20 seconds. And I think we are seeing the first map move of the game almost on cue from the correct team here, Gravitas. That Jinx is walking mid.
Yeah. We're going to try and get level 6 as quickly as possible, as you can see. Halfway towards it, so the bot lane shouldn't be too far. Going on the rest of the team. The land of the ultimates. And finding the next objective to collapse upon. They got the first Drake, auto-sacrificed it for the points we've already mentioned. They're now going to abuse the fact that they have this early game strength, and they can be so feared at level 6 to go for their Herald too. Auto-sacrificing, very keen just to scale, have good CS, bide their time, and wait for their summoners, most importantly, to come back online.
Order putting a lot of priority on movement speed here as well, the early Sorks, as DaJeung's ulted on Corporal. He's level 5.
He's looking for it. The second charge of perfect execution is not going to do its damage. He tried to wait out the exhaust, but it's not enough to take down Corporal. I think it just missed, actually. Jumper's come down. I'm also disengaged and say, you shall not pass. As Shen just keen to farm under his turret.
If we're able to quickly check how many points the Zilean has in E as well, that felt like a 3 points in E amount of move speed out of Corporal. Yeah, he's definitely E-maxing. A lot of greedy Zileans in solo queue, you'll see, put all their points into the time bomb. Corporal basically survives as a result of having 3 points for the movement speed in that E.
Yeah, you overlap that with the exhaust. You're very hard to move away from. There's the kick straight away. He's going to actually run back into the area for the Gomp. He's failed the flash. He has failed the flash, but there's the second with the ultimate to disengage away. He nearly died to the curtain call. DaJeung on the flank has no ultimate. That was down from a fight prior. Vxpir flash across the wall. Hits the passive, hits the hook. Looking for Kisee. They've got a split focus here. Rusty, who are they going for? Going for Corporal. Now he's flashing across 1v3 and he finds it. The 5-point strike, it gets it done. But will the rest of his team fall around him? He comes from the enemy side jungle. Shen flashes on his head and says, please help me. And there's the Sonic Wave. There's the final shot. There's the double. Give him the triple, and this Jhin at 10 minutes is fed.
And I'm going to be honest with you, if that was a level 6 Nautilus, that was a completely different fight. That it was so good as an engage angle for Gravitas. So good is just not going to be enough to actually get them to engage. They need just off on experience. We'll see this again. Kisee literally abandons the jungle and just decides, you know, you're on your own. Kevy, have a good time, I've packaged out. Has to jump back over. So now he is at risk, right? And that's why Vxpir sees an angle here, wants to engage. DaJeung on the flank. A level 6 Naut here, ults Puma. They're done. They're actually dead. But Foreigner's so poked out already from the initial package. DaJeung flashes the wall to get the execute and confirms it. But he's left the rest of his team. And he really is the only point of strength there, right? The rest of them are reeling. No health, no mana, no resources. And easy for Puma to flash forwards. And then gets gifted the triple by the rest of his team. Well played by Order in the end.
And the aftermath is something quite terrifying. They've now found themselves a 4K lead. They found themselves 5 kills very early on, and they are, well, they're chilling. Gale Force is instantly being picked up here. Eclipse has been found on the top side too. They've got the power spikes, they've got the damage, and you have to wonder now, what can Gravitas do? Because there is the depth charge. The hook goes away. Doesn't connect with the target they're after. Both junglers are here. It's going to be a 3v3. They're looking for the execute on towards Foreigner. There is the slow onto the Nautilus, the kick away, which was a disengage more so than anything.
Kevy was looking for a montage, Skimmy. He wanted the kick into Vxpir. Was very close to hitting the Sonic Wave there as well. But yes, Kevy was seeing montage moments. Puma also missed his W, so the CC lock just wasn't there. from the side of Order. A little bit of a mis-execution, but nevertheless, still favor going in their direction. Makes sense when you've got a 4-0-1 Jhin with a full Mythic in his pocket. So very easy Drake to confirm.
Well, we have ourselves an Infernal Rift. If you're Gravitas, you're probably wincing now, thinking they have all this poke, they have all this damage, that would be the icing on the cake, and then we truly, as if you couldn't already fathom the idea, will not be able to play the game. There is the face breaker, bring them back together, looking to try and get any kind of cheeky trades he can at any given moment. The reason being that Foreigner's in the area, but he will be spotted on vision. Kevy's looking to contest his crab, and a TP back to lane from Kisee. There's the fight now, looking for that 2v2. BioPanther still in the area, keep a tab of Tyran, he's not there. The ultimate away, and the shock blast no scope, he don't miss.
From downtown, BioPanther will find that one. Now it is a 0-2 Viego jungle. Needed to ult away almost immediately, but had a little bit of a biff and, you know, just lost too much health. That is vision, right? In the top lane river that shows where he is. Foreigner, upon being spotted, tries to sneak away the scuttle, but it's gone. You know, time is wasted. He'll secure the scuttle or lose his life. For a Puma about to cop a Nord ultimate.
Minion wave in the way, but can he hit the passive? There's the Riptide first of all. Passive connects, he's lost in place. The Gale falls away. He had no flash, no heal, and a 1v2. The Jhin gets away with murder. Now Tyran 1v3 collapsed upon, gets slowed in place. Flashes bomb number 1. And Sonic Wave connects to the minion, but it doesn't matter. They're still hungry to king. Oh, he's gonna fall on down. He is. Okay, the Resurrect comes on through. Can DaJeung salvage anything here? Double bomb, the stun is out, and he just cannot play the game.
No, he doesn't have any damage here either. I mean, level 9 Akali does have some decent damage output with the Q, but just sitting on the Bramble, rather the Balmy Cinder, doesn't have enough to execute. You would expect there as well. We'll just respect them and disengage, and responsive to a play, but not able to influence that one. Tragically, of course, for Gravitas, then more time gets wasted where Order are pushing further and further ahead. And this game, let's just keep in mind, everybody, that Gravitas, you would say, needed an early lead, right? Or needed an early point of power, point of pressure to have an influence through the mid to late stages of this game. That's very quickly starting to disappear with the lead that Order are getting. And this poke composition is going to come online so fast, Skimmy.
Yep. It's a daunting few minutes ahead for these guys. You talk about going a tier build, it's going to take time to ramp up, but hey, they've managed to cheat that, get over that speed bump, which is usually so annoying. And I mean, it started so well for Gravitas, right? The first 2 objectives going their way, you're thinking, fantastic, level 6 come online, you win that team fight, and we could have a very, very different story.
What could have been is unfortunately already gone, though. It's the issue. It's so hard to say things like that 14.5 minutes into a game, but we need, effectively, for the next objective that gets fought over, some kind of hope to be seen for Gravitas. Because positives aside, right, things that we have seen from them between games that have already been an improvement, something has to change. Here we go.
Depth charge goes out, locked in place there with the zap afterwards. Chrono Shift comes out nice and early, going to Gale Force in for the execute in a 1v4 situation. Flash away underneath the tower. Thomas Shen connects. Oh, baited by the Summoner Hill. He turns it around and gets the kill. Tran Proc is there. He's lived a little bit too long. He somehow defied death when it really should not have happened. He's found himself a double kill from the grave. Kevy comes in and plays Janitor like he did last night. And they are showing the class here, Order, because they get a kill in mid too.
Tyran walks mid to hold the wave as mid translates down to bottom. Bio's just going to take the top turret during all of this as well, so keep that in mind. There is absolutely nothing out of that situation that goes the way of Gravitas. They'll kill Puma, but my god, the fancy footwork coming out of the bottom lane of Order is nothing to scoff at. They put in work. So much damage coming out of them. Great use of the Zilean ultimate. The baiting of the heal as well after all was said and done. It was a pleasure to watch because it's Gravitas that go in. The hook actually pushes them onto the Jinx traps. That's a nice little combo. The flash just before turrets. You'd expect Gravitas have done a lot of things right so far. DaJeung comes in. Thomas Shen tries to flash and get the confirm on that kill. But because the heal's there, an extra 2 auto attacks thereabouts come through from Puma, including crits. And that's so much time for Kevy to get there and clean up duty. Could have been so much worse, honestly, for Gravitas.
Well, they had to make a move, and you had to commend them for that, but unfortunately for them, Order have punished, and they've done it again as we come out of the replay and back to the action. 16 minutes in. It's 11 kills to 3, a dragon soon to spawn, and the package in Kisee's possession.
What does the package get them if not the freest dragon you've ever seen in your entire life? Herald to be summoned here as well. They're going to break the bot lane turret. That basically means in the past minute, all of the outer turrets fall at once. This package could honestly just be used to clear mid-wave in a 1v3 situation. Kisee is strong enough to potentially assassinate Thomas Shen and get out with it as well. So they've got to respect, and you can see Tyran hovering with Vxpir. This could even be a second charge. Why go for the dragon as a team when just a Lee Sin suffices, and you can do this?
Looking for the fight once again, are they? Depth charge goes out nice and early, only onto Puma, but no follow-up. Now Foreigner looking for the stun, hits one. Corporal locked in his sight, they're really picking up scraps here, looking for a support. They're going to find it. Chrono Shift cannot be used. It was available, but the burst. DaJeung finds it. Perfect execution. Now can he disengage away? Look at this range! Curtain call and a shot blast. And then there's a big one. And they all just drop like flies.
Yeah, the poke composition with this lead doesn't even need time to ramp up, doesn't even need to poke. It's actually just assassins running around. Massive bombs come out of the Corki. The Jayce shock blasts are half-healthing them as well. And really, what we're waiting to see at this point is a balloons out of control to 9,000 gold difference is for Order to just be on the same screen. And I feel like if Order have 5 people on the same screen, Skimmy, you just FF. There's really no winning angle. Like, this is good from Gravitas, right? They pick a moment where they know they have a numbers advantage. They would have to assume Lee Sin is a Drake above all else. The Jinx ultimate executes nicely with the Akali there as well. Pretty difficult to time the Zilean ultimate unless you preempted all of that damage. But still, you see the shock blast do that much damage. You see the big bomb come here as well. Big one just smashes him. What do you do as a Thomas Shen in that situation but cry?
Yeah, there's not really much you can in that situation. I think it gets worse in a few seconds as well, because those Muramanas are soon to be complete. Add a bit of extra damage, why not? Baron spawning in under 90 seconds as well. And that might be all she wrote for Order to put a bow on things.
Is it all AD carries that just, like, emotionlessly slaughter everyone with mechanics?
There's something so cold about it,
There's a savagery among AD carries in Oceania, I swear to God.
No reactions, just mechanics.
I was just looking at Puma's camera, I was like, yeah, he's calm. Those hype plays before, he was just the same expression as he is now. A lot of ADs from OSA like this.
Makes it so exciting when you do see them smile.
Yeah, like the Violet pop-off last year, if you remember.
Exactly.
Jeez, that was rare. It was good.
Almost feels like it's a Mamba mentality kind of thing. Why should I be happy? The job's not done.
Back to work. 15-minute win, back to work, 14 minutes.
Here we go. Kevy looking for it. He's got the boys to back him up. Let's sidestep the Sonic Wave. Nice there from DaJeung, buying time for the rest of the team to come on through to try and mount some form of defense here. They don't have any control of their own jungle. The vision is being removed. Same with that tier 2. That's gone. Now knock it on that front door. Looking to try and get some inhibitors. But more so, looking to keep Gravitas locked inside their base. There is the 20-minute mark. All waves pushing. And a TP from Bio down to bot.
And just a quick tangent here as well for the composition of Order. We already spoke about it with a bit of detail why the Zilean pick was so good. One other factor that will go kind of under the radar in its usefulness is that Zilean's passive gives experience to another player on the team, right? Yeah. Corki is probably the most level-reliant champion with this build right now for damage output. Because at level 16, your scaling from the rockets is huge, like 1-to-1 AD ratio before the AP ratio. So it does so much more damage. The big one does more damage base levels as well just by hitting 16. Zilean provides that experience boost, just gave him 14 from it. Accelerating an already ahead Corki. What more do you want?
Well, I mean, as you say, take a look at the scoreboard and you can see that he's 2 levels over his mid lane opponent, 3 levels over the jungle. Raw stats alone, even if there isn't 16 there, it's going to be like what we saw yesterday. One rocket, half your health bars just disappeared.
Jayce and Corki are on the same screen just seconds ago. We've got double teleports. Kisee's probably going to teleport to bottom, if I'm going to be honest. You've got the Drake to play for, but realistically, if you can bring them all on the same screen, that's what I would do, right? Get this reset off. He's going to be greedy, as he should be. I'd imagine he's close to an item for a wave this far forward with 0 vision. 1,500 gold. I don't know what he currently has, but you'd have to assume he's quite close. And with that reset, might just be a core field. With that reset, though, put him on the same screen as the Jayce is the point. And that's when the game's impossible for Gravitas. That's what we're after.
Well, both side lanes are hard-pressed against them. Gravitas have decided the Os ARAM is what we're after. We know that the game plan here from Order is just to set themselves up, force some vision around one of these major objectives, do the dance, but they can set up first. I mean, how do Gravitas ever walk in without some fancy feats, some flashes, and some maneuvers of their own? I mean, there's another package. And Kisee alone is stepping up as a carry.
He's going to be able to body them all out. You can't Nautilus hook someone that has the package, right? Because you'll actually just end up on top of it taking damage and a Jayce poke. The Dragon's free. Baron, you would say, is on the cards, but if I was the order composition, I would be prioritizing throwing spells. Just pretend you're a monkey in a zoo and just fling who at them constantly and you'll get kills.
It's just illegal. It is so illegal. Just out of range there, unless Thomas Shen cops it. And then there's that. You think you're safe, but you're so not. You burn a flash, a heal, and you're still not safe. You need more mobility in this game, right?
Basically
because
game.
They can't run away from that one. 22 minutes on the clock. Order say, we've had enough.
Settle.
Our comp was built to do this. Out comes the showstopper. A chance for some form of revenge. Can we get ourselves a kill? We got 4 so far. Can we find more? Nope, we cannot. It's a clean ace and another triple for that man on your screen in Puma.
2 easy
What a
kills.
phenomenal game for him.
Yeah, massive from Puma. 2 easy kills from Order. Poke composition online, Skimmy. It's just that easy.
It certainly is. It is our quickest game to date so far. Early on, 23 minutes, and Order have done it again.
You can't ask for more.